The National Iranian-American Council, NIAC, is a Washington-based advocacy and lobbying organization that was founded in 2002 by its current president, Trita Parsi. The NIAC maintains an active presence in Washington, D.C., working to influence members of Congress and the White House. It regularly organizes conferences on the Hill and holds an annual conference in Washington for its members. NIAC has just a few hundred members scattered across the U.S., although there are more than 1.5 million Iranian Americans in the U.S. The NIAC presents itself as a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing the interests of the Iranian American community. We accomplished our mission by supplying the resources, knowledge, and tools to enable greater civic participation by Iranian Americans and informed decision-making by lawmakers. In fact, NIAC lobbies for a friendlier policy with the present Iranian regime and strongly opposes economic sanctions. The government press in Tehran calls the NIAC the Iran lobby in U.S. Trita Parsi has always bragged about its good relationship with members of the Iranian regime. In his bio, Parsi wrote, "Few analysts in Washington have the access of Dr. Parsi to decision-makers in Iran." Many within the Iranian American community consider NIAC to be a de facto lobby for the Iranian regime. In 2008, as criticism against the NIAC's pro-regime activities mounted within the Iranian American community, the NIAC and Parsi brought a defamation lawsuit against one of its critics, attempting to destroy him through the financial burden of a lawsuit and, as a result, silence all other critics. In 2012, a court dismissed the lawsuit and sanctioned the NIAC and Trita Parsi for abuses which included false declarations to the court. They were ordered to pay $184,000 toward the defendant's legal expenses. This lawsuit obliged the NIAC to release a small part of its internal documents, and that turned out to be devastating for the organization. The Washington Times and many other journals published some of these documents. These documents are now posted in a subsection of the Iranian American Forum website dedicated to expose the Iranian regime's lobby in the U.S. Some of these documents are used in these revelations about the NIAC. The documents show that the NIAC defrauded the IRS, defrauded the NED congressional funds, collaborated with 2 individuals named in a U.S. congressional report as agents of the Iranian intelligence ministry. They also show that the NIAC coordinated its lobby with the Iranian ambassador to the UN and arranged meetings between Ahmadinejad's deputies and American politicians. Documents show that the creation of the NIAC goes back to 1999 when Trita Parsi and his partner Siamak Namazi co-authored a roadmap for the creation of an Iranian lobby in the US in order to oppose sanctions against and advocate friendlier policies toward Iran. Documents also show that individuals close to the inner circles of the Iranian regime assisted Parsi in establishing the NIAC, and that after the creation of NIAC, Parsi worked for and was paid by ATIA. Since the creation of the NIAC, the organization has continued to coordinate its lobby with the directors of ATIA. The NIAC claims that its goal is to prevent war between the US and Iran, but its critics affirm that the NIAC's lobby has always been primarily about business and that the peace mantle it wears is just a disguise and a human face for its lobby. In a memo that he sent to Washington lobbyist Roy Coffey, Parsi explained the real nature of his lobby. Although the mission of the proposed lobby should be to improve relations between the US and Iran and open up opportunities for trade, the initial targets should be less controversial issues such as visas and racial profiling discrimination. Despite its predominantly business-oriented constituency, it is essential that the lobby creates a human face for its aims and goals. IPAC successfully painted the opponents of the Iran-Libya Sanctions Act as greedy businessmen who had no scruples when it came to doing business with terrorist regimes. The oil companies failed to characterize their campaign with human concern for the well-being of innocent Iranians stuck with a dictatorial regime, or support for the poor Midwestern family father who lost his job due to sanctions. The human element is essential both when it comes to attracting support among Iranian Americans